Hello, everyone. Welcome to this presentation. My name is Beayonie Washington, and today we're going to be talking about my research project from menarche to menopause, tracing patterns in women's global health. And yes, just one moment. I'm going to move around this bubble. I think I can move it. Okay, I can't move it. So, this was a project done with UNC Chapel Hill, Carolina Health Informatics Program. And I had so much fun learning, and we're going to talk about it in the next slide. All right. So today we're going to talk about myself, my CHIP experience, menopause and menarche research, and my next steps following. All right. So, hi, Beayonie Washington again. I am a journalism major, English minor at Bennett College with a concentration in narrative and document storytelling. I graduate in May 2025. Shout out to seniors. Hey. All right. And so some cool facts about me is I've studied abroad in Madrid, Spain. So that's this picture here. This is my last day in Madrid, Spain. And this is me and my classmates and my professor at Bennett College. Another thing I like to do is read astrology charts, tarot cards, and my favorite place to meditate is in nature. I am a teacher of intuition and balance. And so, what you see at the bottom is a review of my tarot reading and a picture of me meditating and a headshot of myself. All right, so my experience at CHIP. Professionally, I learned how to code slash programming language. Things like R, SQL, and Python came into my field, and I got more familiar with R in regards to like how to work it. So I learned more ways to use the computer, and I became a stronger researcher. In the classroom, I would say my experience was entertaining, fun, and challenging. Okay, so I very much enjoyed the classroom because it had a little bit of everything in there. I didn't expect to be on a self development journey when I went into the Carolina Health Informatics program. I just expected to learn about computers, but I learned more about myself than the computers, so which was rewarding because I could take that and apply it to my later life moving forward. I also didn't expect that coding would be closely related to nature in regards to like fractals, patterns, and algorithms. The computer has algorithms, and so do life, okay? And that's a beautiful thing once you master it and understand it. I did that, I would do well in data science. I didn't know, fun fact, I actually like data science a lot, and I plan to integrate it with um, my journalism field, yes. My experience at CHIP, I learned the true meaning of being a scientist, and that it's cool to learn from data and to keep an open mind.
Hey, Birdie. What are we doing outside? We're eating. Rolling. We just it's like a little first time on 3D print. Status updates. What are we doing outside?
We're having lunch. I learned 14 minutes. So that's the wonders of science.
Yeah. It's like a little microcosm. Status updates. What are we doing outside?
We're kind of having lunch.
Hey, Birdie.
All right. So what you see here was me at the media makerspace at Chapel Hill. I was printing out my first design on a 3D printer, and it was a little chip. I think I have it. No, I don't. But it's a little blue chip that says B on it, which was really cool because that was my first time on the freaking 3D printer. Who do you know?
We're kind of having lunch.
3D print stuff, okay? I just found that very cool and interesting.
Hey,
And then what you see on the top left and bottom, far bottom, left, my left. You're going to see videos of us at SAS, which is a technology company. And we have fun. This is the pie sequel. This is my last day here. And then to the right is our first day at our program. And so this is me and Jesse at the planetarium, one of our first months there. And then to the left is a podcast episode that you can find in the description box of this video with me and my mentor Pamela, and we talked about how women can build more resilience. Okay, so everyone in the group was in that conversation. It was at a coffee shop, and we were just talking and reflecting and sharing our experiences in regards to
Status
being
updates.
women
What are we
in
doing
a 9 to 5
outside?
setting
Reading.
that works well for me.
Ready.
Scientists experiment to ask better questions by my mentor Avi. And this is nothing but the truth. This is what my whole experience was, asking a better question. Because when I first chose my topic, um, it was why women can't afford to be in poverty. And so I went deeper into my research and I developed my now question, which you will see in the next slide. And yes, so scientists ask better questions. And that was my whole entire experience. So this is why I chose this topic. In 2012, I had a big question of what does it mean to be a woman? Why is women here? Why is womanhood? What it is, how it is, when it is, where it is. All those questions I had. And I asked my community, I asked my mom, I asked my grandma, I asked anybody I could have a conversation with and who would listen. Um, and they never really gave me an answer that I could really stick to. So in return, I just reflected, did a lot of journaling, and recorded my responses. And so that's what you will see here. My personal coming of age story. As a girl, I always wondered what it meant to be a woman. And so this is one of my journals that I had. And so, yes, till date, and today I still journal. And so, 2012, moving up to 2019 to 2021, I started a club called beselflove Club. And this club was designed to empower girls and women to be confident and to normalize conversation around menstruation so girls can communicate their needs and not go without and be comfortable in their growing process. We know that puberty can be an awkward stage or an empowering stage depending on your environment, your community, and what you are having access to in regards to media and what the conversation is around. But I want to continue to push positive connotations around puberty, coming of age, menstruation, and all those types of things for girls and women so that they can confidently navigate going from girl to a woman. All right. And so that's what led me to my book from 2020 to 2021. I had a lot of time and I wrote the book Woman, which is a memoir of my experience into becoming a young lady. And this was just really written to create conversation around girl to womanhood. Like, what is it? What does it mean? And for me. Okay, so I asked that question for everybody else, and at a time, it's finally my time to share what those answers were for myself, and I shared it in hopes to hear conversation from girls, be like being okay, this is what happened to me, this is my experience, etc. All right. And so spring of 2024, I then hosted a human trafficking awareness event because I felt like it was priority for young women, girls, and families to have an idea of what human trafficking is, what red flags are, and what are the signs of a predator, because predators are usually the ones that are committing these types of crimes such as human trafficking. So this was very important for me to get out because I'm all about women's safety, I'm all about girls safety, all right, and family safety. So therefore I hosted an event for college students about this to help keep their family safe from predators. um, so when you inform the college student at that age, you get a very good um, ability to reach everybody, because they are college students. They are able to educate their families in a very intellectual way and also be responsible for children and keep an eye out on them and be able to communicate with them, have the free time to communicate with them just simply because they are college students and less likely to be working as intensely as a person who isn't fully in school. And so, yeah, that was my thought process, and just targeting college students for this event because they have more access to a plethora of age ranges and people. And so at the end of my spring semester of 2024, I decided to do a research paper on sex education to kind of come around to like what it is to me to become a woman and to understand all the changes that's happening within your body. And so no one talks about sexual health until it's a problem. I was curious about why, and in my research, I found that people just don't know how to discuss the topic. And so, being able to discuss the topic, be educated and comfortable in the topic, gives you a confidence in regards to who you are and what you need. Okay, so being able to move about this confidently will inspire others to better take care of their sexual health and their um, self in regards to confidently saying no and then confidently saying yes and knowing why they are saying yes or no in the sex education world. All right, so summer of 2024, menstrual culture. I learned that womanhood is celebrated in different cultures with coming of age ceremonies. I was curious to know if this had an impact on menstrual cycles. And so, summer 2024, this all came together in my 2012 question of what does it mean to be a woman? I found out that cultures around the world celebrate becoming a woman. They celebrate becoming a, the transition from being a girl to a woman through a ceremony. In my theory, I'm thinking I would have a better idea of what it meant to be a woman if we had some type of celebration within the American culture of going into womanhood, other than the Sweet 16 or the quinceañera, something specifically for Black Americans and or just American culture, period. And so the menstrual history within American culture. In 1892, ancient culture for us because we're in 2024, Mr. Woodruff, he went to the Hoopa Indian tribe and explored their culture. And so, in one of these dances, and what you see here is the Hoopa Indian dance table, um, there was a flower dance. And so, this flower dance was done to make the girls perfect in truth. Okay, so you'll see the purpose of the dance here. And then the time of year this was held once or twice a year. And this was held when the girl had her first flower slash her first period. So in 1892, the communities, the people celebrated girls going into womanhood. There was a transition period and there was a dance, okay, specifically called the flower dance. And so after moving a little bit ahead of time, 1892 to mid culture, quote, indigenous women stopped celebrating their menstruation due to trauma during colonization. So during the California Gold Rush, there was lots of immigration, lots of people coming from multiple places, and the Hoopa Native Americans were still there. So the Hoopa Native Americans were in their ritual, they did the flower dance, but the miners, the gold miners, would rip the girls out of their circle and rape them. And so during that time, it created a lot of trauma and resistance for indigenous women to continue celebrating their culture due to those type of things happening for a certain period of time. Another thing is during this time, indigenous women was forced to go to boarding schools, and in those boarding schools, they were bullied, shamed for their culture, saying that the dance was barbaric and that they shouldn't be doing it. And so these are 13, 14-year-old girls. Why are you talking to them like that? Like that is traumatizing. And so they didn't do it. And so there was private rituals that was held between 1970s to 1980s where they would still celebrate the girls but not in a public setting anymore. And so what you see here in 2001, this is Kayla. She was the first to do a public ceremony for her transition from girl to woman, this flower dance for celebrating her first period. And the elder said that she had a glow after the um, initiation, the dance that she did. And I just felt so much beauty in my heart when I saw this because this was what I've been looking for, and I'm pretty sure other girls around the world are looking for if they didn't have this type of initiation. Um, yes, so this was written by Miss Baldley. This was a July. Well, I have to update this date. It was written in August 2nd of 2010, and it was by the North Coast Journal, and it talks about the flower dancers. And so we want to remember that menstruation has a duality. Okay, there's two different stories being told within history about the girl's menstruation, the girl's woman transition as well. When it comes to from the 1800s, post 1800s, and before that, cultures celebrated women having their first period. Okay, the flower dance or the quinceañera, etc. Everyone was doing it, and so the colonization came and the perspective changed. Okay, and so there was trauma around the celebration of the first period and period poverty, which stopped girls from having the tools they need. So just a lot of things came into play post colonization that slowed the celebration of women, celebration of women having their periods, their first periods. Okay.
Last 30 years.
Thank goodness.
Last 30 years.
Thank goodness.
Status update. Last
Thank
30 years.
Menarche
goodness.
So what is the menarche? Menarche is the first menstruation.
Last
Menopause
30
is
years.
the permanent end of menstruation. And why is it important to you? Acknowledging the menstrual patterns in different countries. Understanding women's health. Period. And so the methodology I used was looking at 9 countries in Asia and Africa based on my found data, ranging all the way from Cote d'Ivoire to Philippines, West Africa to East Asia. Okay, so there were 9 countries within the data set from demographics and health surveys, DHS. Menopause, I had years from 1990 to 2022. In total, 79 countries. Okay. And so for Menarche, I only had 2021 to 2022 in just 9 countries. Both data sets had these West African countries to East Asia countries in common. And so how I broke this down to create the visuals that you'll see in the next slides through data cleaning and data wrangling and data transformation. And this is just some of my code that I did. So let's talk about Menarche data. So in menarche data, we observed that Philippines have a higher rate of starting at the age of 12. Interesting. Because what we see here is the yellow and green lines are kind of the majority next to Nepal. Nepal is more likely to start at the age of 13, but the rest of the countries, they are more likely to start at the green and yellow ages, which is 14 and 15. And so the menarche data is showing us a unique trend we're going to look at here. So Burkina Faso has a unique trend. The Philippines have a very unique trend, and Cote d'Ivoire has a unique trend. What you can see in Burkina Faso is incline and age range peaking at the 15 years old. Okay, so majority of girls start at 15 in Burkina Faso. And in Philippines, majority of girls start at 12 and then they dip. And then in Cote d'Ivoire, majority starts at 14. So what makes this different? Hold on to that question. We're going to get to that. Okay. And so our menopause data, we can see that it's more consistent. Menopause, most countries start their menopause from the ages of 48 to 49, and that's majority rules. Okay, it's no like yellow at the top and green at the top here, like how we saw in the menarche data. So what is that about? And let's see this in a different perspective. And so you can see the same type of pattern here. These circles represent the 79 countries I mentioned in the beginning, and the size of the circle represents the percentage. And so this just lets us know that majority of countries just moving forward, they're going to be menopausal between 48 to 49. And in rare cases, you're going to start menopause from 30 to 34. That's a rare case. So let's talk about why. Culture has an impact on women's health, determining what they have time for. For an example, fast paced culture in Western society, or even in the ER room for nurses. So in Korea, they did a study on women's periods in the high intensity ER rooms where everything is like fast paced. And they noticed that women's periods changed throughout time. Some became longer, some became shorter because of the intensity of the environment. Okay. And so, stigma. Some of this data may have not been recorded accurately due to some women not choosing to disclose the menarche or their menarche age, their menarche or their menopause age accurately due to like privacy things and the whole concept of them wanting to keep it a secret or just not talk about it because they're not comfortable with talking to people in white coats. And that's completely okay. Some socioeconomic factors that could have an impact on this is women with access to nutrition can maintain healthy bodies and with that their periods. Some countries have a disproportionate amount of disparities that slows them from getting nutrient and tools to take care of themselves. So, with countries not having access to certain foods, clean water, etc., that can slow down the health of your body and slow down when you are going to get your period and how you will get your period. Okay. And so, in conclusion, women across these countries generally reach menopause between ages 48 to 49, which is relatively consistent pattern observed globally. This suggests that despite cultural and environment differences, the biological timeline for menopause remains quite uniform. So the end of menopause, end of periods are kind of the same across the country, across the world. But the comprehensive analysis of menarche trends across these regions emphasize the complexity of biological development and the need for tailored approaches to healthcare and education. By understanding these patterns, looking more into education and intervention. And so that takes me to Be Self Love, which is my nonprofit where we help inform and teach girls about menstruation and empower them through self love and building their confidence. So I plan to complete my infographic poster to share with my community. So look out for that. You can find that on my LinkedIn here. My LinkedIn will be also down below in the description box. I'll also use this research for grant writing for Be Self Loved. And what you see to the right here is me and my dad at a grant writing event. Me and my friend, we went into grant writing not knowing anything. We applied and we didn't get it, but with the information that I've gathered, I can come in stronger and get this grant up and running. And so I would use this grant to finance marketing, website building for the foundation of Be Self Love, and of course, building our email list. And then also getting t shirts for our volunteers so that we can start passing out pads and tampons to local middle schools and teaching them small things about womanhood. Okay. And then upon my graduation, I plan to travel and obtain my master's degree. And so what you see to the left is my sister and her friends. And then the top is me and my sister. And then my logo for Be Self Loved and our ideal clients. Connect with me on my LinkedIn email. If you want to join our email list, click the link below. Or book a spiritual reading. Okay. So, thank you for understanding women's health. If you did enjoy this presentation, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this important information. We need women sticking together and communicating about their experiences transitioning from girl to womanhood. And what does it mean? Like, we want to see the picture because it's a beautiful picture. And with times changing, we want to know, like, if it is evolved to be a woman. Does it look different in regards to just the cooking and cleaning, or does it mean to have a business? Okay, we're in modern days. I don't know. So this is what the conversations are going to be looking like. All right. So if you want to hear more about Be Self Love, please donate to the channel and book of spiritual reading if you're interested in learning more about yourself on a spiritual level. And I'll see you in another presentation. Bye.